the Jet Setting Wealth Advisory Podcast, where your financial journey takes flight with David T.U. As an airline pilot and financial expert, David merges the aviation industry and wealth management to help you navigate today's complex financial skies. Each episode features expert insight, blending personal stories with essential financial strategies. We ask that you fasten your seatbelts and sit back as we prepare for takeoff. Our destination, your financial empowerment.
Hello, this is David Yu, and welcome to the Jet Setting Wealth Advisory Podcast. Today, we're joined by Suzanne Engel, a Michigan native and Floridian CFO consultant. Suzanne is a certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor, an IRS authorized electronic return filer, and a member of the American Institute of Professional Bookkeepers. She founded her business to revolutionize the traditional accounting by empowering entrepreneurs to manage their finances with clarity and strategy. Suzanne is aimed to simplify financial complexities, giving you the peace of mind to focus on your passions. And today, she'll share her innovation strategies for financial management and strategic planning. So, welcome, Suzanne.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you very much, David, for having me.
Absolutely. We're so delighted and so happy that you're here. So let's get started and get to know a little bit about your journey and what you do. Suzanne, as a founder and CFO of Breezy Bookkeeping, can you share your financial journey and how it led to the creation of your company?
So I come from Michigan. Mm-hmm. I started my first company at 25, me and my ex-husband, and went into business, made a bunch of money, and had no idea what to do with it.
Okay.
So what do? You look for a CPA. So our first year, we got a CPA, and he filed our taxes and told us that we owed a lot of money. And I thought, well, that's not how I want to work. This doesn't work for me. So I interviewed and hired a couple other CPAs, and they kind of did the same thing. Navigating the first 2-3 years, someone in our same industry became a good mentor and referred us to his CPA. It was about year 3, and he came in and actually taught me how to use the QuickBooks properly, showed me how to create my financial reports, showed me how to review my financial reports. He would come in on a monthly basis. He would go over our financial reports. He would give us tax strategies. He would help us implement them, which was the most important part. And then he set up with his strategic partners. So he had a financial advisor, or he had attorneys and things like that. So he really worked with us to develop the business, not just file the taxes. So we did that for many years. We had a successful business in Detroit. And then with 08, 09, auto bailout, we were selling snowmobiles and four-wheelers and dirt bikes, and they were not giving loans for toys.
Sure.
So we weren't in business long enough to sustain it. We didn't have enough assets and capital to keep going. So we decided to close it down and move to Florida. Our parents were in Florida. So we closed down the business, packed up all our stuff, and moved to Florida. And I got a part-time bookkeeping job. That was easy. I was just doing bookkeeping, but it was very different here. Our clients weren't talking to their CPAs, and the CPAs weren't talking to the bookkeeper. We would send emails. Yes. You could never get a hold of them by phone. We would send emails, and they would, what should I do with this? Just stick it in office and we'll take care of it and write us notes. So that very first year was very unfulfilling, to say the least. I had been very spoiled by my CPA over the years. So I did that for a while, and then it just became monotonous. I was better than bookkeeping. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act had just come out, and it was the biggest overhaul in taxes in 30 years, they say. So
absolutely.
I thought, well, everyone else is going back to school. I'm going to start. So I sent myself to tax school. I disengaged with my employer very amicably. It was a good separation, and started Breezy Bookkeeping, payroll and tax. We DBA now, Breezy Accounting, made that simple.
Great.
And then went into taxes. And built my business.
Awesome. So what inspired you to take the leap into this entrepreneurship? And how has your expertise in bookkeeping shaped your approach to wealth planning for business owners like yourself, as well as myself?
Right, right. So I've always been an entrepreneur. My dad owned a shop in Detroit. I worked for him as a secretary. I went and worked for my aunt. I did nails. I did that for a while as a teenager. I did
Wow.
nails. And then I went into business with my husband. And then when I came here and worked as a bookkeeper, I was better working for myself. So I just did this. I never, my family always worked for themselves.
Okay.
So I guess I always had that in me. And so for me and for my clients, I'm a business owner too. I'm in your same situations. I have a lot of resources and knowledge to help you get past where you are now because I've been there.
So many of our listeners are aviation professionals and business owners looking to build wealth. What are the key financial mistakes that you potentially see in entrepreneurs making when it comes to managing their business finances, especially with your service in bookkeeping? You are able to see it from the real grassroots.
Right. So the biggest thing is bookkeeping, right? Bookkeeping is
Sure,
just the backbone. Bookkeeping is basic,
it's
it's
everything.
compliant, it's a requirement, it's undervalued. But you need good books to make tax plans and be able to build wealth. So that's one of the big things is getting that organized for my clients. So then we can actually have those conversations. What are your KPIs? What are your percentages of income? How can we cut costs? We can look at all these things, complex and detailed reporting, things like that. Then I have my W-2 clients. So for
Okay.
instance, I'm gonna use it. This is a really good one, actually. If you're an airline pilot and you're about 10 to 15 years out, and you've done nothing, right? You're just maximizing your 401k.
Mhm.
You might be taking non-deductible traditional IRA contributions and do a backdoor Roth. I mean, if
Sure,
you're just a W-2 commercial airline pilot or doing nothing else, then you are paying the highest amount of tax possible.
absolutely. I know that myself,
Yeah, your
being an airline
box
pilot.
2 of your W-2 is disgusting.
Yes,
So
yes,
I always say this is not legal or tax advice, seek an expert and a professional, but it's a good theory. So I always say we talk about Jim. Jim's 10 or 15 years out. He loves to hike. He lives in Florida. We're pretty flat landed. He goes to Georgia, North Carolina, and he hikes. And he pays for all that with after tax dollars, right?
sure, absolutely.
Wonder if he decided to create a hiking company where he brought more men with him.
Absolutely.
And they went hiking and they talked about dogs, drank beer, I don't know, whatever you guys do when you're hiking. But anyway, so he used other people's money now, right? Now we brought
Sure,
OPM in. We're using
sure,
other people's money to fund my passion. We've
sure.
turned it into a business. We're creating expenses, which ultimately leaves more money in your pocket at the end of the day.
Yes,
And that grows. Okay. So that grows and they get going and hiking is great. And they decide they want to go to these different states. So they're going to these different states and they found a tax advantage state, right? They looked at state and local taxes and things like that. So they found a tax advantage state, not just where it was pretty to hike. And they decide they want to buy an investment property,
okay,
right? So they're like, oh yeah, this is really cool. We're hiking, we're camping, we're making a couple bucks. Let's buy property because we still need to reduce that income, you know.
absolutely.
So they go in on an investment property and now they're doing hiking, all male hiking retreats or something.
Sure.
Now they're making money.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a
So
business.
now they're like, oh no, I just defeated the whole purpose of what I started because now I'm increasing my income again, right? So what do you have to do? You have to buy more stuff. But because they have an investment property in another state, maybe they'll buy a plane because we're pilots after all. And it just becomes perpetual.
And it keeps on, it sounds like it's a snowball effect.
It just keeps going at that point. So that's how you build wealth.
I
You just
like it.
create business.
Absolutely. So share with us, how can entrepreneurs, because you gave a great example there, how can entrepreneurs, especially those in high demand careers like aviation and high income, streamline their financial process to avoid certain pitfalls that you see?
Hire an expert.
Okay, right?
Hire an
I love
expert,
that.
hire a good accountant and a good attorney and a good financial advisor and make sure that they all work together, that they're all talking together to what's your goal. Everyone's going to have a different end game. Everyone's going to have a different goal. Some are married, some are divorced, some
Mhm.
have children, some do not. None of us are exactly the same.
We
So
all
build
have
that team.
the fingerprints themselves are all different. It takes a village
It
to
does.
build that family-like office setting that is for specifically to your endeavor. And you don't need to have millions or hundreds of millions to have your own family office. But if you're able to get these experts to work in your little village, this is where a lot of value can be brought.
Absolutely. I mean, in my company, what we do, and I do a lot of business development coaching, one-on-one
Awesome.
mentorship with that. So
Wow.
it's from inception to succession, right? The bookkeeping is, you just have to do bookkeeping, but then everything that goes along the way. So what entity selection is going to be best for you? How do we mitigate tax liability? I mean, you're familiar with all of this, and every industry is going to be a little bit different, and every person's going to be different, but being able to have qualified experts that you work with, that's the most important thing. The biggest problem is that the internet and the web and AI and has everyone thinking they can do it, and you can't.
That's
I can't
right.
fly an airplane yet.
Right. Well, sometimes I use the example that does a brain surgeon, would he do brain surgery on himself, even though he knows he's an expert at being a brain surgeon?
I like that.
And the answer would probably not. A heart surgeon, same thing. Doctors do not analyze themselves and do diagnoses on themselves. They actually go to another doctor to do something like that. So I completely get you. Fantastic. Great advice so far, Suzanne.
Thank you.
Bookkeeping plays a critical role in wealth management. Can you explain how proper financial record keeping contributes to long-term wealth building, and what business owners and individuals should really be cognizant of if there was an unfortunate scenario where there was a tax audit? What are some of the important parameters and record keeping contributions that a business owner must have?
Technology's come a long way,
Mhm.
QuickBooks Online. I always say, look out for bad bookkeepers too. There are so many bad bookkeepers out there. So find your expert, number one. Make sure you understand your financials. And if you don't, your bookkeeper should be explaining them to you. Your financial team should be coaching you along and giving you financial literacy and education along the way. If you don't know things, we're very big on that.
Mhm.
If all you're getting is a profit and loss and balance sheet, but you don't know what it means, and your bookkeeper can't explain it, you have the wrong bookkeeper.
Absolutely.
Technology is making everyone think they can do it themselves. But the cool thing about QuickBooks is all the apps that you can connect to it. So we use QuickBooks, of course. We've automated it, very efficient, very quick. The bookkeeping part is easy peasy, put it in pie now. It's the apps that you can connect to it that give you this extra customized reporting features. So we're really big on reporting. Excel's gone. Excel's a dinosaur, People complain they don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. And I'm like, then why are you using Excel?
Yeah.
We're going to get you off Excel. We're going to create these customized reports for you, your KPIs, whatever that looks like. If you have cost of goods, depending on your industry, we're going to look at all that. And you're going to be able to go into QuickBooks on your phone anywhere in the world and be able to pull up your reports for your company, because we're going to customize those.
Yeah,
give
absolutely.
those to you. And then that's actually, I have a whole section on that coming out of my book about customized reporting, the tools that we use, how we can save time in your life and make it more efficient. I don't have a release date on that yet, but
do you have a title for the book?
I do not.
Okay. All right.
We're still working on that. It's in the middle stages. So trying to find the importance of having a really good business development manager in your life. A bookkeeper does bookkeeping. A CPA prepares taxes and gives you pretty good guidance along the way, depending on the one. But a lot of the ones I know just file taxes. There's so much more than that in between there.
Absolutely. And there's a definitely expectation gap between the tax preparer, or let me go back to in terms of the CPA, and their client. The CPA's client expects the CPA to provide tax efficient advice or tax mitigation advice. But many of the CPAs actually do not do that. They simply have a cookie cutter factory-like output. Give me the documents. I will put the right numbers in the right column in the 1040 tax return, and then that's about it. Where they meaning the clients, expect so much more out of the CPA. And there's always that gap that I have seen over and over and over. The clients are underserved by many of the CPAs. And that is really unfortunate.
That's how we get 99% of our clients. My CPA won't answer the phone. I can't get to him. He won't answer my questions. He won't respond to my emails. Those things they're not doing. Like right now, we're going into Q4. I'm booked from now until the end of the year. I'm doing tax planning. We're doing strategies. We're trying to mitigate taxes. The Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was going to sunset next year.
Right. Maybe.
What's this year left available? We can take
Right.
advantage and max all that out.
Right.
You know, we're talking today about what we're going to be doing in February 2025.
Excellent.
2026.
Excellent. Excellent. So what strategies do you recommend to help clients align their bookkeeping with larger wealth planning goals, like retirement or investing planning?
Always investments. I see so many clients that have no idea how they can use their business to fund their retirement.
Wow. And
They don't know.
Yeah, before our starting of this podcast, we actually just briefly touched on that, right? Those are very important. Setting up those retirement plans are not only beneficial for the employees that they have, but also for the business owner themselves, and to be able to tax defer, well over six figures in terms of tax deductions and tax deferral. Really, for a lot of people that don't necessarily know that, you'll be able to provide them the advice on
Self-directed.
Yes,
Self-directed retirement
would be fantastic. Absolutely. So in terms of tax efficiency and planning, which you had just brought up, it's an important aspect of wealth building is about not what you make, but it's about what you get to keep. What are some of the common ways that you can help provide advice with tax efficient strategies and how this can contribute to maximizing their wealth?
Okay, so I'm going to go a little off course on this. Last year, I created an all women's investment group. There's going to be 10 or 16 of us because I want it to be an even split. So we're either all going to have 10% or 6.25%. And it's going to weigh to get 10 or 16 of us together so we can talk about these things. And everybody's different, right? So, and it's funny because I sit in this room with these women and they all ask me a question and it's all different advice. Like there is no
cookie cutter.
Everything is different. Yeah. There is no basic one size fits all. Not everyone's wearing the same shoe. Everyone has a different size foot. Some wear heels, some don't. So,
right.
Being with that diverse group of women and outside of work, right? Not clients, but really having good conversations with them and being able to, I love to save taxes. I love the strategies. I love the challenge. I have so much fun in it. It's my passion. So when someone comes to me, we sit down, like, for example, I had a call with a client today. I've been working with her for about 4 years. She has 2 rental properties in Florida and she's getting ready to move to another state. Let me say that, right? I got to be careful. She's getting ready to move to another state and we planned this out. So she was going to sell the house. And I said, no, you're going to keep the 2 rental properties in Florida because that's going to be your passive income. You're going to buy the duplex. I said, okay, you're good. You're allowed. I'll let you move there.
Okay.
But that's why she calls me. She's like, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Right. So, and we kind of worked out like a 2-year plan, keep the 2 properties, get the duplex, live in half of it, get settled, and then go find your primary residence. If you want to live there, it's like, yeah, this is great. I want to stay here. Go find your primary residence, turn that into a 100 investment property, live in your primary residence for 2 years, and then we'll talk next year. Like, that's all I have today.
Awesome.
Being able to, I love that.
And to be able to talk on a street level or just very plain. I don't
use a lot of fancy tax lingo with my clients. Some understand when they start off with me. If they're clueless, I'll teach them some words, right? Financial literacy. It's about financial literacy. I will teach that with them, especially when I do my one-on-ones for business development. You are required to know this as a business owner. I will teach them that.
So let's move on to technology and financial clarity. Technology is evolving ever so rapidly. How do tools like cloud-based accounting software help business owners stay on top of their finance and perhaps contribute to better financial decision-making?
Yeah, well, technology is amazing, right? AI and
It is.
automation. But
Yes.
Is it accurate, reliable, and true?
That's the question. That is it.
You're still not going to replace an expert. Perfect example. You're a financial advisor in that field. People are using E-Trade, Fidelity,
Sure.
and they're going out on their own, and they're probably losing money.
They are. Yep. The golden rule of investing is buy low, sell high, but everybody seems to do just the opposite of that golden rule. And
Like, I see so many people taking shortcuts and trying to save money because they want to do it on their own. And if they just would have paid a couple dollars in the first place, they would be so much farther along with an expert, and they would have saved so much money in the long run.
absolutely. Absolutely.
So, I mean, technology doesn't scare me. I mean, I love it. We use it, are always ever changing, but don't try to be an accountant if you're selling widgets.
No, absolutely. So for some of us with complex financial lives, myself being a pilot, being a financial advisor, being a tax mitigation strategist, having a podcast, and managing my own seven-figure real estate portfolio, just to name some things that are complex financial lives, who may own the people who have multiple assets, what tech solutions would you recommend to keeping everything organized?
I mean, you just do that with QuickBooks Online. I mean,
Okay.
if you're just, I mean, yeah, but you need someone that knows how to use the program. I have clients that have multiple companies or different levels, right? Because we're talking levels. We have trust. We have, we're doing different asset protection things. I do that all in QuickBooks. Personally, I do. Find the expert. I keep saying that because it's true, that knows how to do it and run those. I'm sure there's a bunch of other softwares out there, but I have been using QuickBooks Online since its inception.
Okay.
And I have been able to manipulate it and make it do what I would love it to do. And
Wow.
I found
Okay.
those apps that I can integrate that lets me do what I want it to do. I don't mean to sound conceited when I say that.
No.
But I'm always looking for solutions. I'm a solution provider.
Okay.
So I'm always looking for solutions.
Okay.
So specifically, I mean, outside of that, I can't really think of that. But most of that's just having your estate plan, about getting your team together,
Sure.
working with your financial advisor, your attorney, your estate plan in place. Do you have multiple entities in different states, those kinds of things. But that can all be done on QuickBooks.
Okay. Any comments on QuickBook besides QuickBook Online? There's also a QuickBook Desktop.
Yeah,
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about that?
QuickBooks Desktop is going away. They're moving everybody to online. There's QuickBooks, there's Xero, there's Wave apps, there's a Hurdler. I mean, there's all different kinds, there are a dime a dozen out there. I've tried them all, I've used them all. I'm a big tester because I always want to be, I don't want to take any extra work either. My time is valuable.
Sure.
We do everything in our business, as efficiently and quickly and accurately as we can. So a lot of people, you just have to be careful with QuickBooks Online. They're trying to push everybody to the advanced, and they always want to start you at the best level, and that's not necessarily where you need to be. That is so minimal of what we do on our level. That's just so basic. If somebody needs to help get started, we'll get you started on that. But yeah, going into deep wealth, that's just.
Got it. So let's talk about that. What do you recommend and suggest in terms of the first steps for business owners who want to integrate their bookkeeping into, say, a larger wealth planning strategy?
Go camping with your girlfriend. I think I started another camping company. We went camping for my birthday last year, and we were in the hammock, and we went tent camping, me and my friend. We love it. We hadn't gone in years. So we're like, hey, let's go buy some tents and let's go camping for my birthday. It'll be fun. We were laying in the hammocks and she said, we should make a business out of this. And I said, yeah, we should, because I paid for this with after-tax money and I'm not real happy right now. So that's Coastline Camping. It was created, but always be evolving. So we run that on QuickBooks, but always find a friend, find an expert, always be seeking to look at businesses. I did a really good exercise. I went to a convention last week, the Boss Lady Conference, and they did a really good exercise. They were like, do the wheel, and you put the wheels 6, 5, 4, and whatever that looked like. My wheel was I had a flat tire. And then she did something very important, and then you kind of put them together, and it was like, what do you like, and how can you turn that into a business? Mm-hmm. So, doing these practices with people that have more situational awareness that can help you with that, I think that's a big deal. Hang out with people that are doing it.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the endeavors and the future of easy, breezy bookkeeping. So as a wealth advisor myself, I'm curious about the growth plan of financial services businesses. What does the future hold for easy, breezy bookkeeping in terms of helping clients not only with their books, but also with a more comprehensive retirement or financial plan?
Yeah, so SuzanneEngel.com, you can follow me there, doing more of the one-on-one business development program coaching. I see such a need for that, and I have so many people approaching me for that. So we've done that. We do strategic tax plans, but we also do the implementation. I've had 3 clients so far this year come to me with their 13 pieces of paper that they paid a significant amount of money for me to implement it. And they think, oh yeah, he just told me to take it to my tax preparer and you guys would help me with this. And I'm like, not for free.
No, yeah.
Same financial literacy, showing education, teaching people. Social media is the devil when it comes to tax planning. Look at all this bad social media advice. I get that a lot.
Absolutely.
Asking me. So
tons.
What we're really modeling more towards is full service. Right?
Excellent.
So we do the bookkeeping, we talk about all the stuff in between, we file the tax returns are easy at that point, right? And then, what does your future look like, helping you mitigate taxes, financial retirement planning, things like that. We want to be that full service.
So how do you see the role of bookkeeping evolving as more businesses focus on wealth preservation and planning for retirement? And of course, let's add that tax mitigation or tax reduction.
I see a lot of people going overseas with it, hiring offshore in India. There's a lot of offshoring going on because it is such an undervalued piece of work, I suppose. So I see a lot of people. I considered that actually, but when I built the accounting business, my model was I wanted to employ people in my community. I wanted people to be able to know that they had a job. They didn't have to worry about losing their job as long as they were doing the work well, that they could stay with me. I got to a point the last couple of months where I looked into offshoring because of inflation, what I needed to actually pay someone here versus over there. So I see a lot of that. Everyone's figuring out where to cut costs. I've had some clients come to me and say, I might have to discontinue services. And I said, no, we're not going to discontinue services. We're going to look at your budget. And if I can come down, or we'll work that through. But as soon as we build this back up, I'm going to put my rates up again. So that's fair for everyone.
You work with clients? Wow.
I want to keep long-term clients and get good referrals and help my community. But that's the bookkeeping part. I have staff for that. We have staff that does that part of it.
I love it.
We focus more on like the wealth building, financial advisory stuff.
So as someone who helps others manage their wealth, how do you personally approach financial planning and wealth building?
Oh, that's funny if you're asking me personally. I always tell everybody I'm like a little chipmunk, where they say all these things and they're like I have money everywhere.
Okay. All right. Diversification.
I have different.
Gotcha.
I have different strategies. And I'm diversified.
Okay.
I use every single avenue possible that I can.
Okay.
so that I can use those with my clients as well. I talk to my financial advisor and I talk to my attorney. I've created my trust and I have my businesses and I have that whole structure. I'm able to use those strategies and show them the way as well. I always say, find the expert, right?
Yeah.
Work with me.
Sure. You're passionate about it. I can hear it in your tone.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
and
I love
the
what I do.
attitude that we're having this conversation, I can hear it. So if you could offer one piece of wealth building advice to our listeners and watchers today, particularly those who are looking to retire from a demanding career or careers, what would that be?
Goes back to that same old saying, tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you about you. Put yourself with the people that you want to be like. If you want to retire in Portugal, then go find the girl that has the investment property in Portugal and find out what she's doing and how she did it.
Okay.
I always say, follow those. Like I said, I have 3 profitable businesses and I travel all the time. So, find someone that's doing it.
Okay.
And stick with them.
Okay. And for those people that are looking to getting into your business and potentially be a competitor of yours, what advice would you give people to initiate and start this bookkeeping?
Get a college degree.
Business. Okay.
You need some
education.
financial acumen. Yeah. Call me. I work with a ton of different bookkeepers and CPAs. We go out to lunch. We have conversations. I mean, we're allies, not competitors. I don't look at one person as competition. I just don't. So, but yeah, have conversations with the people that are in the industry that you want to do. Go to your expert and find out what you do. It's such a broad, right? Finance and money, so broad. What do you want? What are you passionate about? What does that look like for you?
I love it. What a great attitude that you have. And if people want to get a hold of you, the website for your company is?
Yeah, so I'm at easybreezytaxes.com, EASYBREEZY taxes, easybreezybookkeeping.com.
Okay.
SuzanneEngel.com. It's SUZANNEENGEL. It's like angel, but with an E.
Okay.
SuzanneEngel.com.
Okay.
And I think I'm on Instagram, Easy Breezy Accounting on Instagram.
And do you have a business phone number?
386-269-9656.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in to the Jet Setting Wealth Advisory Podcast. Many thanks to Suzanne Engel for sharing her innovative financial strategies. As a self-styled CFO for small businesses, she doesn't just manage your bookkeeping and taxes. She equips you with the clarity and strategy needed to excel as your own CEO. To learn more about her services, please do the rewind where she has provided all her contact information. We appreciate your support and can't wait to have you join us again. Until next time, my name is David Yu, airline pilot and founder of DTY Wealth Planning Solutions. Don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. And until next time, stay sharp and focused on your financial goals. Goodbye.